Hey everyone, welcome back to Henry Makes More. Have you ever, well, maybe a few of you have found yourself in the situation where, like, some dangerous men have held you hostage and they're demanding that you fold them some origami orchids. And maybe you also found yourself in the situation where they're going to allow you to watch one YouTube video to learn how to make an origami orchid. It's unlikely, but if that's the case, you're just in luck because that's what we're going to do today. So to get started, we're once again using just simple printer paper. That's what I always use. That's what I always design my things with. Big step for this is that we're just going to start just by getting not just a square piece of paper, but a 1:2 ratio piece of paper. So it's going to start by taking this top edge right here, or this top corner, and we're going to fold it all the way down right to this edge. I often say, when I've taught people in the past about origami, is that you don't need to be great, but you do need to be precise. And so what we do is we take this edge and get right there, and instead of folding it all the way along, we're just going to crimp right on this little corner right there. So now we have a little crease right there. And if we take this corner and fold it right down to where that crease meets the edge of the paper, fold that hard, nice little crease all the way across. This flap right here is a perfect 1:2 dimension. So I'm just going to rip that kind of off. You could also use scissors to do that. I'd probably recommend it. It would be much cleaner than what I just did. It's all tattered edge now. Alright, so now it's time to get into it. This is our base piece of paper. First is we're going to bring the corners to each other, the far corners to each other, and we're just going to crimp right down there on the bottom edge. And then we're going to take the corners that are down on the same edge as where our crimp is. We're going to fold those right to the center. The reason we do so many crimping and not just full folds at the beginning is because it keeps the final products more clean looking with fewer creases showing. Because I don't know if you've looked at an orchid recently, but there's not a lot of folds going on the petals. Alright, so now we have these two flaps right here, and we have this smooth surface right here. So have the smooth surface facing up towards us. We have our little crimp that shows our halfway point. It's also verified that's the halfway point because that's where the two flaps meet on the bottom side. But this time we're going to take this corners down on the same edge again. We're going to fold it towards the center. This time letting the flap kind of come out so it doesn't get folded on the bottom layer. That's going to create a little zigzag shape, right? And I've already messed up. Alright, so make sure you do this accurately, unlike I just did. But that's fine. Alright. And so now we have this edge with a single fold, and then this edge with the two folds. And it created this shape right here. So, with this facing up, we're going to fold our whole piece in half, taking the bottom edge, this edge right here, we're going to fold it to the top. Now, this is where the fun starts. You're going to take the first corner, the first layer of paper right here, and you kind of pull it down and out. Now we have this crease right here. You're going to want this crease to point at this corner. Really what we're doing is just we're taking this corner, pulling it out, and then we're flattening it. Just like that. And these are going to be the big petals on the orchid. Let's do it again with this piece. Pull it out, find that crease, make it point to the corner, and then just flatten. Now, I recently have been kind of obsessed with orchids because, like, I come from Montana, and so of the orchids that we have around here, they're very small, and they're of only really one variety, and that's a lady slipper orchid. So these orchids, I think, are just kind of really cool to me because they're so novel and different. So now we have this side with these two large petals pointing out, and we have this side, which is just still rectangular and clean. With this side, what we're going to do is that we have these two creases that formed from our previous fold, where we folded it in half. We're just going to fold down on these creases, so valley fold down on those creases. And this can be a little tricky. Just be careful and gentle with it. Alright. I'm just going to push this flat. And that's the thing, is you always want to make sure this is like pushing flat almost at the end of every step. So now we have this little pleat right here, where it goes zigzag again. And from here, we're going to have our top side facing up. We're going to take the bottom and we're going to fold it to the center point. Just like that. And I recommend making this a really hard fold, so really press down on these edges, just to keep it clean. When I originally designed this, I designed it so that it could be made by some students that I work with. So this is definitely a more simple way to make an origami orchid. I think it's really easy when designing these to overcomplicate it, but that's why I like this one, is it's pretty simple. Alright, so now we have these flaps, and if you see, you can get this uppermost flap and you can kind of pull it down, just like that. And this is going to be the lip of the orchid. And if we look at our orchid right here, I actually have one with me today. They have two large petals, this really complicated lip area, and then these two lower petals. And so these two lower petals in the lip, that's what we're going to be making right here. So how I start is I grab this and pull it down, and it kind of separates all the layers. And these things right here are trying to come up. Let's keep those down for now. And now I'm just going to pinch at these sides, kind of pinch them right down. And that's going to help it hold its shape. At the same time, these corners are still trying to separate in here. And so to stop that, what I do is I reach in and I get those corners and I kind of fold them right back up. Just like that. And so now we see one's folded up over here and the other's still coming apart down here. So we're going to do it to the other side. Because all orchids are symmetrical. They are what we call zygomorphic, meaning that they are symmetrical in one direction. One direction. And so this is now the lip of the orchid. It's where all the reproductive organs are. It's where seeding will and fertilization will happen. It's where all the bugs are trying to get to. We also have these flaps right here. These are our lower petals. So what we're going to do is we're just going to fold them down. We're going to fold them down from this point to the center point. So this corner right here to the center. That's where our fold is going to run. It's going to kind of intrude on the lip too, but that's fine. It kind of shapes it, right? Narrows the lip out. So now we're almost done. We just need to shape it and hide some of our work that we've done. So the first thing is that we have these corners right here at the tops. And what we're going to do to deal with this is we're just going to get our finger right behind this petal, right in front of this back petal, our finger, and we're just going to push this corner down and in, and it's going to kind of tuck it in between the layers, just like that. And we're going to do it to the other side as well. And now to really define that these are two different, or that these are three different petals, we're going to take these obtuse corners, these obtuse angles, we're just going to fold them down as well, and we're going to try to make this symmetrical again. And then also, because these are such sharp corners, which orchids usually don't have, I'm just going to fold those in too. And this helps kind of keep the structure because it folds over onto the other layers and it kind of grips on. So it's always good to do these things, not just for aesthetics, but also for structure. And that's really all that origami is it's structure with aesthetics. All right, we also have a similar deal going on here with this zigzag fold. So with behind zig and the zag, we're just going to push that corner down. Do it to the other side. Just like that. Now we can take this obtuse corner, fold that back. This is going to help define differences of the petals. We have this sharp corner right here. We're going to fold that back. And this is our business side. You know, this is where all the messy work is. Fold that back. These sharp corners, we'll just take the little tips, fold them back as well, along with these bottom corners. So now, fold it back over, and you're done. I really like this design because I think it's very simple and elegant. It is clean, you know. There's no unnecessary creases that you can see on the surface except for right here and right here. And I mean, if you really wanted to go through the effort, you probably could get rid of them, but I think it complicates the process for an instructional video. If this is confusing, and I understand that might be, the best way I can say to fix how confusing origami can be is just to keep on folding with paper. Paper is fragile, paper is temporary, so you can mess up, and you will mess up, and that's fine. If you have any questions, you of course can reach me over at my email, which is just henrymakesmore@gmail.com. You can also comment below. If you enjoyed this video, I highly recommend that you should subscribe or leave a like. And I think that's it for today. All right, I'll see you later, guys.